Another week, another episode of Game of Thrones. Hey guys, it is Chelsea Corinne, and I don't know what happened of why I all of a sudden decided I wanted to start reviewing Game of Thrones and talking about Game of Thrones here, but I do because if you're obsessed with something and you have the availability to do something like this, why wouldn't you do it? So I've been writing a lot of articles about Game of Thrones. Now this is my second video on Game of Thrones, so we're just gonna keep rolling with it. My last video, I got a lot of hate for it. People weren't exactly agreeing with my point of view, but that's okay. That's what opinions are for. We're not supposed to agree because it would be boring. So today I'm going to talk about episode 4 of season 8 of Game of Thrones. Some theories I have from watching the episode. Again, you probably won't agree with me, but that's okay. I have one theory that's completely outlandish and probably will never happen, but I like the idea of it. It would be so cool. But let's get into talking about episode 4 and some of my theories that I have from it. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, comment down below some of your Game of Thrones theories, hit the notification bell, and let's get talking Game of Thrones. So the Battle of Winterfell is over. The Night King, the White Walkers, and the Army of the Dead are, well, really dead. Like, they're not just undead, they're like actually dead and gone. A lot of people, of course, not happy with how fast that whole story wrapped up. Unfortunately, this is something I don't think I said quite well in my last video. I don't blame the writers for how the stories are wrapping up right now. They were given shortened seasons. So unfortunately, when you have this very, very vast tapestry and like crazy tangled web of storylines that Game of Thrones has created since day one, the way they're going to have to wrap up the stories is going to be quick. So it might not be the way they wanted to wrap it up. They might have to just oversimplify things, leave certain details out that really don't impact the flow of the story too much, and just move on no matter, you know, how the fans react or how they wanted it to end. They are constricted to a time limit now and a budget. So some things are going to have to go, and I don't blame the writers for that. That's not their fault. They didn't choose this. I don't know whose decision this was, if it was the directors, if it was HBO, whoever it was. They're to blame, not the writers. I didn't mind the Battle of Winterfell. I didn't really care about the Night King, like I said in my last video. However, of course, there are some repercussions. Arya doesn't exactly want to be the hero. Oh, spoilers ahead. I should have mentioned that. There's going to be mega spoilers. Not surprised that she said no to Gendry. I was kind of hoping for it because I've always been a team Arya, Gendry. Like, I like them together. But let's be real. She wasn't ever going to get married. He should have known that. Like, yes, I get it. He loves her and he's loved her forever. And he's brought it up before that you're going to be my lady. But, I mean, she's not the marrying kind. And he should have known that. Finally, the hookup between Jaime and Brienne, and he seemed really happy. We're going to get into that, what happened later. And then, of course, the biggest issue is right now is Jon's lineage. Jon Snow, aka Aegon Targaryen. Daenerys isn't exactly happy about this and doesn't want him to tell her his family, and he does, because that's Jon Snow. And then Sansa goes all Littlefinger and tells Tyrion. I never thought I would be Team Sansa until this moment. Like, I've never liked Sansa through the entire series until last season when she killed off Littlefinger and her and Arya killed off Littlefinger. And the way she's been scheming and like you could see the wheels turning, I'm like, ooh, damn, like that girl, that's a force to be reckoned with. And before this season started, my brother said he thinks Sansa's gonna sit on the throne at the end of this. And I kind of believe it now. I didn't want it, but now I kind of want it, and I think it's going to happen. Well, I want it to happen. So that's theory 1. Theory 2 is they are going to be addressing more of Bran's storyline, and I think they have officially confirmed that he has been stuck in times, like spots in time, which has been a theory for a while, that Bran has been stuck in different points of time, including being the Night King, also including being Bran the Builder, and other points of history he got stuck in because he worked too long. Clearly that has to come into play here. Game of Thrones never repeats itself unless they want you to remember it for a reason. Jon's a bastard. Jon's a bastard. Jon's a bastard. Not a bastard. The crypts are safe. The crypts are safe. The crypts are safe. Crypts weren't safe. So this isn't something that's new for Game of Thrones. For Jojen to have been telling him, hey, you're going to get stuck if you keep doing this, it's going to happen. And it probably will happen. And we'll finally get the wrap up of the Night King story that everybody wants so bad. Bran and Tyrion have this little moment where Tyrion is complimenting his wheelchair. And he said that it was from a design it was from 120 years ago. One of the Targaryens made it for his nephew. And he says, I liked that one a lot, or I liked it a lot. Something along those lines. The way he said it, though, wasn't like, oh, I saw the design somewhere and I really like it and I wanted to use it. He said it in such a way that made you think he was there and he lived through it and he had experienced it. It hinted towards that fact that he was there, and he was there for not just like, hey, I'm like there like he was with Ned. No, he was there and you know, maybe caused a few problems. But I think that was definitely one of the moments where I was like, ooh, he said that weird. I liked that one a lot. Like, that doesn't sound like somebody would just say that if they had seen it, like on a piece of paper or in a book. And then he says to Tyrion later on that he lives mostly in the past. Now, that could be, oh, because he's just always looking back and seeing it, or quite literally, most of his life has been in the past, because he has spent now, once this moment happens, he is spending thousands of years, because the White Walkers and the Night King are thousands of years old. He has spent thousands of years in the past. I think this is definitely going to be occurring. I mean, definitely going to be wrapped up in the show. I think we're people that were really upset with the way the White Walkers went down and the Night King went down. I think you're going to finally get that moment of, oh my God, it's true. There are a lot of other nuances and little things that they've had throughout the show that has hinted towards Bran being the Night King. Now, I would like to say they won't do that because it's so obvious, but at the same time, I don't know if you can get around it now. Like, it just, there is no other explanation for it. And those two lines this time around, I was like, oh, yeah, you definitely have been really doing a lot of time traveling and getting stuck there. I really, truly believe that now. I also have a theory of who's going to die. I mean, clearly, I think Daenerys is going to have to die. She's got to go. The girl is going to turn into the Mad Queen. Varys is right. She's got to go. Like, she's got to go. Of course, I think Cersei's going to die. I wouldn't hate if Cersei didn't die. It sounds terrible, and I wouldn't hate if Cersei got the throne. I know she's a terrible human being, but I've always had this, like, love-hate relationship with Cersei that, like, you're a terrible person. But, like, you're vindictive and in a way that I kind of I enjoy, and I like watching you, like, manipulate everybody around you. Kind of like how Sansa's very manipulative now. I'm like, ooh, I kind of like this. I also think now, drum roll please, Jon Snow's gonna die. Again. Yeah, I do. I actually 100% believe it, especially after last night. I am fully convinced Jon Snow he's getting the axe. He's gonna, maybe not literally the axe, but I think he's gonna die. In the scene last night where Jon is getting ready to go down to King's Landing with Davos, he gets, you know, getting ready to go on his horse, and Tormund saying his goodbyes. Now, yes, this could have been the moment to just say goodbye to Tormund's character, and I get it. It might be the last time we see Tormund. If that was his goodbye, I'd be kind of disappointed. I was hoping he would go out, like, dead or something. Like, I don't know. I just think if that's the way they're getting rid of Tormund's character for the rest of the show, I'd be kind of disappointed. But again, you got to wrap up fast. However, the way he says goodbye, he said, oh, you know, you've got the North in you and you really should come. And he says, oh, I wish I could go up there with you, blah, 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 blah. And they give this really nice warm hug, as if they're never going to see each other again. Now, you can make the argument, yeah, once Jon goes there, doesn't matter if he lives or dies, he's going to stay in King's Landing. I don't know if he will, though, even if he doesn't die, if he's actually going to stay in King's Landing and be the king. We'll see. And then he says goodbye to Sam and Gilly. We found out Gilly is pregnant. Made me really happy. I was like, oh, how cute. Sam and Gilly say their goodbyes. Sam gives him a really big hug and says, you're the best friend I've ever had, hinting again he's never going to see Jon again, which again could be that, you know, Jon's not going back to going back to Winterfell. He might just be staying in King's Landing. That could be possible. Also, I don't think that was the goodbye to Sam for us, because he's still in Winterfell. Sansa's still in Winterfell. There's other people in Winterfell. So I don't think that's the end of his story. I think him and Bran are going to have some kind of storyline together, because clearly those two are some of the smartest people here and know the most because they've read the most. They know the most about history / experience history if you're Bran. So I don't think that's the end of his character. So for that to be his goodbye, I thought was weird. And then instead of having Ghost just stay in Winterfell with Bran and Sansa, who have, you know, cared for direwolves in the past, he gives it to Tormund, but he also doesn't go over to Ghost and say goodbye, which, again, everybody was living over. I get it. I was very upset. Jon was like, wait, Jon, that's your best friend. You have been worried. Oh, where's Ghost? Ghost, come to me. I haven't seen Ghost. You know where Ghost is? Oh, finally found Ghost. Ghost, Ghost, Ghost. And then you don't even say goodbye? But he did leave him there, which makes me think again, and he's saying, hey, you know what, send him up there. He's better in the north of the wall. I think Jon is legitimately, I think he's going to die. I also think he's going to die because of the Lord of Light. Now, this is a storyline everybody's like, oh my God, they didn't wrap it up. However, I think we're about to, because Beric Dondarrion was brought back to life a couple times from the Lord of Light. Then he served his purpose, and then he died. Melisandre served her purpose for the Lord of Light, and then she died. In theory, Stannis served some sort of purpose for the Lord of Light, and then he died. Now it's time for Jon to serve his purpose. The Lord of Light brought him back. But I feel like it's one of those things is that, yeah, I bring you back. You serve my purpose, but then you got to go again. Like, I got to take you back. Like, we can't keep you living. Maybe that's how this works. I mean, I'm not 100% certain. This is just completely reaching. But I think that is a pattern that now we've seen last episode that could be carried over to Jon's character. Now, here's the twist in my theory that I think is definitely not going to happen. I kind of want it to happen because it'd be so mind-blowingly crazy. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's too much of a stretch. But, so Arya and the Hound are now making their way down to King's Landing. Of course, the Hound is going to be trying to kill his brother. We're going to have Clegane Bowl. And of course, Arya is trying to kill the Queen. She wants to kill Cersei. She's on her list. She's got to go. So, here's my crazy theory. It's completely outlandish. Again, I don't think it's going to happen, but I want to put this out there because if it is crazy and it is right, I'd feel really proud of myself if it's out on the internet before I'm like, haha, I knew this was going to happen. And everybody's like, no, you didn't. Again, probably not going to happen. What if Jon dies, right? Because I still think Jon's going to die. Now, Daenerys, she's got to go. Like, she has got to die. I don't think she's going to know he died right away because, you know, she's crazy and now she's like so thirst for power and doesn't want to deal with Jon because Jon betrayed her by telling everybody, well, telling his sisters who told everybody that, you know, who he really is. She's not going to know he's dead. Arya is going to wear Jon's face and kill Daenerys. How cool would that be? I mean, again, it's outrageous. I don't think it's actually going to happen. And I'm talking really fast now, but how cool would that be? Arya, Jon dies, Arya wears his face, kills Daenerys. Bam! That would be so epic. I also think that I've seen that theory of something with Sansa and Cersei because that was part of the prophecies that you'll be killed by your little brother, but also that this young, beautiful woman is going to take your place. Sansa's going to be queen. I mean, I don't know if I completely believe it. I think it might be a stretch, but she learned a lot from Littlefinger, and she has learned how to play the Game of Thrones from the best of the people. She's learned from Littlefinger, she's learned from Ramsay, and she's learned from Cersei. She has learned, maybe she'll, you know, the student becomes the master, and she will outsmart Cersei at her own game because she knows Cersei and the way she thinks from living in King's Landing so long. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Jaime, I don't know what's going on there. A lot of theories are saying that he is going to King's Landing to kill Cersei, but that he did that with Brienne, kind of like how Tyrion did that with Shae, like, oh, you know, no, I can't have your kids, like, you can't have my kids, like, this can't happen anymore, calls her all sorts of mean things, and then she cries and goes on her merry way, then betrays him. But I don't know if I think that's what Jaime just did with Brienne. It was a weird switch of, like, he was really happy with Brienne, and then, like, a snap of the finger, and he was, you know, now thinking of Cersei. Cersei is kind of like a drug to him, and, you know, that's kind of a hard habit to quit, so maybe that he is really going down to help Cersei, but, again, Game of Thrones has this habit of repeating certain phrases a lot for you to keep in mind, and Kingslayer is something that they just called him over and over and over again, kind of like they called Jon a bastard over and over and over again, and you found out what the reasoning was, is, you know, he killed the king for a reason. Maybe he's going down and he's going to kill Cersei because he is the Kingslayer and she's the queen, so it's close enough. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe he's just too in love with her. Who knows? I really felt for Brienne because Brienne has been one of my favorite characters, and to see her hurt like that and begging and pleading, and you've never seen Brienne vulnerable like that before, so that was kind of upsetting to see for the first time, but I guess the last 2 episodes we'll find out. What do you think about the theories that I just, you know, laid out there for you? Am I crazy? Am I not? I don't know. I think some of my theories are crazy. I'll admit it. I think some of them are a little over the top, but I think some of them are quite legitimate. Possibly. Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe to SoJO-1049, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you back here next week, probably, if it's a crazy episode of Game of Thrones. Oh, also, last minute, whatever's in the air is not whoever dragon's left. Is it Drogon left? I don't know. Not Drogon. Because Euron looked way too confused when he was looking up in the sky. The dragon noise wasn't the same, and they showed a blank sky for a reason. There's something. Whether it's Qyburn brought back the dragon that died, was it Rhaegal died? It's either Rhaegal or somewhere, like maybe the second sons came back from Marine and there was dragon eggs and they, you know, hatched. I don't know. That's really a stretch. I really doubt that there's more dragons. My brother thought there might be more dragons, but who knows? we'll see. I don't think that. I think that's a stretch. But Qyburn bringing back the dragon could be interesting. Could have a zombie dragon. We had an ice dragon. Why not a zombie dragon? That would be pretty cool. But I don't think it's Drogon, or again, whichever dragon's left. I don't think it's Drogon. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm gonna go watch the episode again and find that Starbucks cup because apparently I missed it.